What's going on, guys? This is Tower number 9, and we are here with live coverage of the tabletop or the Take the Initiative League season zero point 0.5 Top Cut. And we have a match today between Palm, who's playing Cunning Boba, Mono Boba, and Copycat 99 playing Command Iden. And I am joined here by co-caster Loopy. How's it going, Loopy?
Hey, thanks for having me, Tower.
Yeah. So Palm is your teammate over at Late Night Gaming. Is that correct?
He is, and he's the number one seed for the tournament. He's running a great boba list, and we have Copycat bringing Iden to the party, along with half the rest of the top cut.
I think, yeah, I think we had an interesting meta for the top cut here. I think we ended up with like four Bobas, four Idens, um, I think two players on Krennic, though they've actually both been knocked out already. Several Rebel aggro players, one Vader, and I think a surprise Grand Inquisitor deck as well. All right, so we're going to go to the lists here. So we'll start off with Palm's list. So this is a double cunning Boba Fett list, and yeah, Loopy, what do you think about this? What do you think about this build? Loopy, you got any thoughts on your teammates' build here with the double cunning Boba? I know a lot of Boba players have been running command, but this is kind of a different style. All right, we're having a little technical issue there. I am not immediately in contact with Loopy audio wise. Going to try and get that solved. And let's see here. In the meantime, my own discussion of the my own discussion here. Loopy, are you back? Loopy appears to not be back, alas. Um, Anyway, I am going to hopefully continue for now, at least with this, and perhaps we can get this sorted out. But I want to quickly go over this before the players start. So basically, this is a double cunning deck. Double cunning is probably the best mono aspect build right now. All three of the double cunning cards are really good. This is not the same for the other double aspect cards. So Cantina Bouncer, Bodhi Rook, and Cunning are all very strong, and we're seeing those. Poem also has a triple change of heart here, which should give him some nice play in the late game. Double cunning can have a lot of tempo and aggression early on. And he has some cooler late game plays as well. So now we're going to move on to Copycat's build. Copycat running Iden Green and with a really heavy end game focus. So we have Avenger, Reinforcement Walker, Super Laser Blast in main deck. A lot of the kind of stronger late game cards not running Make an Opening main deck. And he is playing the Super Laser Tech and Resupply. So he is kind of going for a later game here, I feel, just based on this setup. I tend to think that I tend to think that that Poem's build might be better suited here. Um, and we're going to see how this goes. We're going to see how this goes for the we're going to see how this goes for the players here. I tend to think Poem is going to be able to do well by being the aggressor and having that change of plans to follow up against some of the bigger units that Copycat is running, but we're going to have to see. And so we are going to start switching over to TTS, and we will see where things end up from there. Okay. Had an echo there for a moment. Sorry about that, guys. Should be fixed now. And let's see how we're doing. Okay, connecting to the server here with the players. They have not started yet, which is good. Looks like the camera thing didn't load, but that's okay. Late Works in chat asks, is that Boba build 51 cards? Three, six. Yeah, it looks like it is. That's funny. Yeah, and I see he has 51 cards loaded, highlighting the deck. A little interesting. Normally you do want to play at 50. I would probably try to find something to cut because you do want to have maximum odds of drawing those really powerhouse cards like Cunning. Um, and yeah, I'm just going to inform the players we're having a little technical difficulty. Loopy's trying to restart and see if we can get this fixed. Okay, so then Inception XD says, I still don't love ISB Agent. I will say I'm a big fan of ISB Agent if and only if you have Tarkentown. Um, Without Tarkentown, ISB Agent is a lot worse. Now, it does still have some uses. It's actually quite good against shields, but there aren't all that many units that will die to its ping. There are a few. So, Greedo, Death Star Stormtrooper, and Wing Leader are all like fairly commonly played units in competitive decks that have 1 HP, so you can ping them off with ISB Agent. But aside from that, it's mostly only useful in scenarios where you need that last point of damage on a unit that's already been damaged by something else, or to remove a shield. Now, of course, Iden does have a shield, so it's very possible that we'll see that ISB Agent being used to knock her shield off or something like that. But yeah, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the most impactful here. And we can take a quick look at Copycat's build, and yeah, it looks like they're okay. So technically, Super Laser Technician is a 1 HP unit. However, the odds that it will be beneficial to you to use ISB Agent on your opponent's Super Laser Technician seem very low. And aside from that Super Laser Tech, we don't see any other 1 HP units in this build.
All right, I am
Um,
back and with audio, I hope.
Yeah, we hear you now. We hear you now, Loopy. Chat. Can you guys hear Loopy as well? Just want to make sure that it's working here.
Hello, everybody.
Okay. I believe we are good here. So apparently you're kind of quiet. I have increased your volume here, but I don't know how much that will help. Seems to be an odd thing with these calls sometimes. But they
Yeah,
can hear
no,
you.
both Discord and TTS can be a little janky at times, but hope you can hear me now.
Okay.
And it looks like Copycat's getting an initiative.
Yeah, we have looks like a mulligan there from Poem. Copycat keeping the original hand. It has a nice progression there with Viper Probe as a starting play into potentially the um, Death Trooper or the resupply. Chat kindly pointing out the game is not on screen just as I was switching it over. Thank you for pointing that out. Be a little embarrassing to narrate the game while we show the deck lists and not actually what's being played.
The text-based strategy to commentary,
Yeah,
but we like to do visuals as well.
yeah. Now, is it just me or has Palm only resourced one? I guess he's faced with a decision as to what to resource with his remaining. Oh, actually, looking at this, I do see one other ISB agent interaction, which is that if Death Trooper damages himself, he is left on 1 HP, which would leave him a target for the ISB agent.
Yeah, I think we're talking about that too. Is that the Death Trooper? I think is the natural target for ISB.
All right, Viper Probe hits the field. I think it looks like ISB is going to end up pinging the Viper Probe. That's fair. Sets it up to kill it without having to use that shoot first. Did he actually see the hand? I'm not actually
I
sure that he remembered to see the
I
hand.
I don't know that he did.
Well, that's a missed trigger if so. It's not mandatory technically, but a little unfortunate. Pezio asks, Palm is running 51 in main deck. Yeah, that is correct.
That is true.
TJMK 314, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Viper Probe swings on in, and interestingly, ISB Agent uses the shoot first to clear Viper Probe while staying alive, even though it could have just traded. What do you think about that play, Loopy?
Uh, I would have traded it.
Yeah, I think I would have too. And honestly, with the super laser tech coming out as the follow-up, I'm not sure that is the most I'm not sure that's the happiest thing for Poem to see because if he had taken the trade, that super laser tech wouldn't have somebody to attack into this turn.
Right. Against any green villain deck, it's great if you can avoid the ground arena and not take too much damage to start.
41 in deck now, Inception. And okay, so ooh, that is a very fortunate play there, though. This Bodhi Rook looking at an opponent's hand and discarding a non-unit card. I think almost certainly he has to take the resupply here.
Given the board state, yes.
Yeah, because like if he takes the resupply, Copycat has no play. And
Right.
like he could play Overwhelming Barrage to do nothing, but he doesn't have a unit to target with it. But if he takes one of the barrages, like is Barrage a better card than Resupply? Yes, it is. But taking the Resupply blanks this whole turn. Taking one of the barrages, Copycat can resupply, deploy Iden, and get her out on the field a turn early and be in a better spot. He indeed takes the resupply.
Oh, yeah, but I think that's a weepy moment for Copycat.
Yeah. I suppose
Bodhi
one
Rook
advantage of
is a
taking the
swing from
barrage.
yellow for sure.
Yeah, Bodhi Rook's very annoying. Does have that whiff chance. Not as reliable as some other discard effects because Bodhi Rook's ability does require it to be a non-unit card. So if they have a hand with only units, you can be pretty sad about that. But in situations like that one where an event is critical to what your opponent's plan for the turn is, that's pretty good. Iden deploys. We could see Iden picked off by Bosk this turn. Although, I think there's a fair chance
Yep.
we'll see Iden throwing out a barrage. ISB agent disables Iden's shields. Barrage comes out, yeah, killing Bodhi and knocking the shield off the super laser tech, or I'm sorry, not the super laser tech, the defender there. And it looks like Copycat is has forgotten two Iden triggers there. Oh no, well, okay, he remembers one of them. So Iden's ability here, when an enemy unit is defeated, heal one damage from your base. Should have been able to heal one from the ISB agent and then one also from Bodhi, but only remembered one of those triggers for one healing instead of two. A little unfortunate there for Copycat. Does get to swing in on the base for 6 damage with that buffed Iden, but
And
Iden could be killed here.
I think that poem's okay with that. I mean, he wanted to
Yeah.
have her activate first.
Sure. Yeah, it looks like Bosk is gonna swing in on Iden, so this will not kill Iden immediately, but once the extra HP from Overwhelming Barrage wears off, she will be defeated. Bosk is defeated, and that will be another point of healing for Copycat. Overall, I think really a situation that Poem is probably fine with.
Oh yeah, getting rid of Iden is a major priority because she just heals so much when she's deployed.
Right. And would have healed 1 point more if he had remembered the trigger on that ISB agent, but neglected it. Looks like we're probably gonna see. What do you think here? You think it's his Vader? I think it's Vader. And there we
Yep.
have it, Vader. So here's the question. Can he find a Death Trooper in his top 10? If he can kill Boba immediately here. Um,
And you would expect that's what he's looking for.
yeah. I think we saw one Death Trooper earlier, but it was resourced. Doesn't find the Death Trooper. It's going to be a Super Laser Tech instead. Probably a disappointing moment there for Copycat. Does still do a good chunk of damage to Boba Fett, but isn't going to be able to prevent him from attacking this turn.
Though he's not going to be probably able to ready. Well, actually, I think that maybe there's not a danger to him right now
Yeah, I mean,
because Copycat is tapped out.
Right. There's not really a lot that that Palm has to worry about here. He could honestly just swing for 7, play the Fet's Fire Spray, do another 5, and then his opponent is on pretty critical damage, quite frankly.
Right, with potentially Super Laser Blast coming next turn.
Another option might be to use Cunning to bounce the. You could use Cunning to bounce the Super Laser Tech and do +4, but I think I'd probably just go for the face and go and the Fire Spray here. Vika 3600 says probably should have used Jetta. I'm not sure what the Jetta target would be. Iden's ineligible. I guess he could use Jetta on Vader and kill Vader while leaving Boba alive, which would be kind of cool, but I think he prefers to just put the big pressure on the base. Copycat vanquishes the fire spray, but it's too late. Boba swings in, and that's
Yep,
lethal. If
that's lethal.
Copycat had remembered that 1 point of healing, he wouldn't have lost the game there, but we would have probably seen that second fire spray come to close things out. So tough game there for Copycat. I think Poem really played that fairly well. Now it's interesting, if Copycat had found a Death Trooper in his top 10, do you think he wins that game? I don't think he would win, but he would be in a much more favorable position at the very least. And we might
I,
well see the
I,
game go longer.
yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's so hard to answer Boba with the 7 health, and I mean, I think that's one of the primary ways this deck is looking to do it
Yeah.
is Vader and a Death Trooper. And we did not see Cunning played, and still it was a relatively um, strong win. I think the Bodhi Rook was uh, significant. I mean, you'd have to kind of play everything back with an extra resource, but that might have changed things. Vader coming out sooner.
Yeah. What do you think will be the sideboard choices here for these players?
Well, uh, I think that Iden may. There's so much bounce in Boba, and
Yeah.
he's aware of the change of hearts. He may actually try to go a little smaller.
I don't know. He doesn't really have a lot smaller in his sideboard. He has Make an Opening, which he could include. Make an Opening is actually pretty good against
Yeah,
Boba. You can kill that Crafty Smuggler, kill that Seven Fleet Defender, and the healing's good. So probably I'd try to get Make an Opening in there. But other than that, he just has, more big ships. And Traitorous is actually pretty decent here, but could be disrupted by the bounce effect. So we're on to
and I
game
think
2.
I think Poem's deck is pretty teched against Iden already
Hmm,
because he was thinking that was going to be the case. But yes, Make an Opening is certainly an anti-Boba card that's played all over the
yeah.
place for that.
Yeah, anti-Boba and
Because
anti-aggro, really.
yep, because it can hit Crafty Smuggler right here. It can hit the Seven Fleet Defender, which is an even better target for it.
So when you say that poem is text for Iden, what cards in particular are you thinking about?
The Change of Hearts. I mean, there's a
Hmm.
lot of bombs in Copycat's deck. Change of Heart. Bob is a tempo deck. It's a mid-range tempo deck. It's very strong that way. I mean, a Change of Heart on a bomb is usually the end of the game.
All right, looks like a resupply coming out here from Copycat. Very basic turn, doesn't really advance anything, but oh, and
Bodhi,
that's going to be
Bodhi strikes
painful for
again.
Poem. Bodhi strikes again, but
Yeah,
it's a complete miss. All the cards in hand are units. Ouch. That is not what Poem wants to see there. Ends up being a Bodhi Rook doing a bad Viper Probe Droid impression.
Bodhi Probe Droid.
Yeah. The and it's kind of interesting to compare that. Now you might say, well, looking at your opponent's hand is still good, but Viper Probe is 2 for a 3/2. Bodhi is 3 for a 3/3. So if all you get is a look at your opponent's hand, that is very likely not worth the extra resource that you paid for 1 HP there.
Doesn't feel quite as good as blanking a turn for them.
Yeah. And so we do see the Crafty Smuggler trading with Colonel Yularen in there. Interesting scenario. Um, I think there's a good chance we're going to see we could see a super laser tech ambush here and then follow that up with a death trooper to kill Bodhi. Looks like there are some pretty good options here. Looks like there are some pretty good options here for these players.
Yeah, this is where it gets down and dirty with Boba.
Yep.
We've been crashed by a Destiny Riku.
Oh, is that who that is? I turned off that person's volume because I didn't know if they knew we were streaming, but I'll turn it back on. What up, Destiny?
Yo, what up? I'm watching now. My
Okay,
bad.
it's all good. I will catch you later. Okay, so back to the game. We have a ambush here from the super laser tech, just as predicted. ECL being used there, 2 damage on Bodhi, very strong play, and he has a really good follow up too with the Death Trooper to kill Bodhi.
Yeah,
Bodhi can swing it to
the
the base. Yeah, it's tough.
the cards are aligning pretty well for copycat so far. When Iden
Yeah,
goes
that's
before Boba, that's a good day.
yeah, and seeing that seeing Bodhi miss as well can't have been a very positive experience for Home, but the game's not over yet. And indeed, Death Trooper arrives to kill Bodhi. Strafing gunship on the field, actually. Interesting card there. I think actually a pretty strong card. 4 cost 3/4 space unit that can attack units in the ground arena. Only unit that can attack directly across arenas right now. And while this unit's attacking a ground unit to defend it, it gets -2. So this strafing gunship could easily pick off that Death Trooper or knock out Iden's shield, and even if attacking into Iden would remain alive. Um,
Right.
Now we'll have to see. I don't know if that's the play that Poem wants to make, but it could be a useful asset there.
I mean,
Ma-
Boss could be pretty good.
Yeah, so he could potentially use the strafing gunship to knock off Iden's shield and then take her out with Bosk. That'd be a pretty
Right.
reasonable
And then
play.
ready up with Boba. Hopefully kill the Death Trooper with an event.
It does look like Copycat has a Darth Vader ambush waiting though, so that might not be the most desirable thing in the world. Looks like he might be going for Bodhi here instead of Bosk. Or no, it's actually just gonna be the 7th Fleet Defender. Okay. Death Trooper swings in for 3. I guess taking that attack before it can be picked off. Strafing Gunship picks off the Death Trooper, taking only 1 damage in return thanks to that damage reduction that it has built in. Iden swinging in for an additional 4. It almost seems like Iden is the aggressor in
Yeah.
this matchup right
And
now.
I think Poem is playing around Vader.
He's gonna probably have to deploy Boba. I mean, if he could pass or something, but Copycat could just pass himself or take initiative or I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe he could pass and try to see if he can get Copycat to play Boba for or to play Vader for no ambush.
I don't think he would though. I mean,
There's Boba, and here
you,
comes Vader. Once again, if we see a Death Trooper in that top 10 to kill Boba, that's going to be a major win for Copycat. Not like in terms of winning the game immediately, but just in terms of being a super impactful play. He finds something there. He found it pretty quickly. Is it the Death Trooper that he wants to take out Boba without Boba getting a chance to do much of anything? No, Viper Probe Droid.
a Viper, right?
Much weaker pull. That Death Trooper there. Honestly, I almost feel like the Death Trooper would just win the game. Like it wouldn't actually win the game, but it would put Palm very far behind. But once again, Copycat was unable to find it in that top 10.
Yeah, and he has Bosk available in hand, and he has the ability to Jeddah and
Yeah.
not have Boba die, right?
Yeah, so he could use Jeddah City to allow Boba to kill the Viper probe droid or Vader while remaining alive himself, and it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. Jeddah City onto Vader and initiative taken by Copycat. Boba probably going to swing in now and take out Vader, getting 2 resources back, and then he can play Bosk as well this turn. So he could have Bosk take out the Viper probe or knock out Iden's shield. Overall, you know, what looked like a game that was really swinging Copycat's way now seems to be tilting back more towards Paul.
Right. And if he's got a cunning, this is going to be real strong next.
Oh, and there's the Death Trooper. It was the 11th card. That is brutal for Copycat. That's the way it goes sometimes. There is a factor of luck in card games. It's kind of crazy to think about how if he had seen that if that Death Trooper had been 1 card ahead in the deck ordering, Copycat would be incredibly ahead right now instead of Poem being in position to mount a potential comeback.
A lot of game left though.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll probably still see the I think we'll probably still see the Death Trooper played here. Um,
I would think so too, but that should give Pulm an action for Bosk, right? To play an event.
um, yeah, no, Death Trooper kill Bosk, not Boba. Oh no, he kills Boba. It's a little
Mm-hmm.
surprising to me. I think Bosk is a higher priority target for sure.
I
Um,
would have done Bosk too, but
yeah, but
I mean, there's
it
so much
does.
pent up hatred in the community for Boba Fett. I mean, sometimes
Now
I think
here's
he gets
something.
the
Now
he
here's
gets the
something
hate.
odd. Poem didn't resource this turn. What's up with that?
That is a good question. I can't see the hand or what he wanted to hold to justify
He's
staying at
got
5.
Bodhi, Fire Spray, Bosk, Cunning. It's those are good cards, but like, yeah, it's interesting.
So Cunning here could lay down Iden and give a +4 and kill the Death Trooper.
Yeah, I mean that seems pretty. Or would it kill the Death Trooper? It would bounce. Oh, with Bosk, right? Because he didn't kill
With the
Bosk.
Bosk ability, because it's an
Yeah, yeah,
event
yeah.
that does
Absolutely
more
right.
damage, right?
Might do a random discard here. Yeah, it looks like that's what he's gonna do. Random discard. I don't know what the other side of it was that he chose. Um, ooh,
I think
and
random random discard is
another.
good this time of the game too.
Yeah, yeah, with the low cards in hand. Little bit of bad luck there for Copycat though with the random. Well, I don't know. So he still has his Avenger, which is going to be potentially impactful next turn. But the random discard did take the other card that he could have played this turn. And now a fair chunk of damage being sent in there by ooh, and there's that change of heart that we were discussing earlier on Pulm's side of things. J for any 43 says, hope these go on YouTube. Can't stay, but glad you're covering. Yeah, I do hope to upload this to YouTube probably sometime late tomorrow. We will have to see. I'm gonna probably try and upload the previous one as well, though I need to make some edits. All right.
Yeah, thanks for covering this tournament, Tower. I think everybody's really hyped about this game right now, and getting some on the top level matches out there is important.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, we also have. I know there's been some streams from Rebel Traitor, the founder of this league, as well. So I'm not the only person on there, but yeah. Ooh,
Yeah,
another Bodhi miss. Ouch,
and
man.
a great
Both.
one from Inception and Garbage Rollers last night too. I think that was a good match. If you saw that with the Emperor's Legion sideboard,
Oh, yeah, that was spicy. Avenger hits the field. That's going to be something dead. The question is just which unit to lose. I think the answer is probably going to be Bodhi Rook here, and that's exactly
home
right.
might home home might claim here. Yep, absolutely with change of heart.
Yeah, going for the direct change of heart play makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, there's nothing but Iden to sacrifice, so he's gonna have to play something.
No, it doesn't affect Iden. It's non-leader.
Oh yeah,
It's
it's a
actually a
non-leader.
major
Yep,
downside of that card.
that.
Iden swings into base.
So I think he attacks with everything else first, right, to see if he plays something.
Yeah, you just try to slow roll him. That's what I do. Now, to be fair though, I don't know. Copycat can play Vader, and Vader brings his own cover, so
That is true.
assuming you can find anything in your deck at all that's a villainy unit, it would provide him with something. But there is a risk that he would only get like a space unit that could. Well, I don't know. Even with a ground unit with that gunship in play, there's oh wow, immediate attack from the Avenger there. So that is going to mean Vader gets to play. Huh. No fear there, but I don't know. It's a
Finds the
seasoned
seasoned
shore trooper,
stormtrooper. Things are
solid
getting
unit.
dicey on the ground.
Yeah. So I mean, oh man, at the end, once that Avenger goes back to Copycat's side of the board, this is going to be a pretty
This is going to
scary
be a
field.
23, I think.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think there's been enough damage. I don't honestly see a way out of this for Copycat. Like, how could he escape from this? Well, there it is. He can super laser blast. That's how he escapes from it. It's a stupid play. It's more devastating to you than to the opponent. But I think he has to do it because any other, or no, I'm being silly.
No,
He can
Avenger
attack.
attacks. Well, the on
Well, wait a
attack.
minute. How does that work? So when it's on it, so on attack, on attack is resolved before the attack. No, because he can do the on attack. Opponent
So
discards the gunship, and the shield on the defender means that it can't be killed.
yeah, Pome would choose the defending unit is what he would do
Yeah.
because
So
the
I
on
think
attack is
actually
also
the only thing Copycat can do to survive here is no. I think the on attack goes off before you choose defender, but I could be wrong. Is that right? No, that can't be right because Sabine's on attack actually affects the defender directly. I'd have to look up the ruling there. Um, yeah, it just goes for the base, doesn't get the kill. One unit dies. That's a point of healing, but it's not enough. Defender swings in and wins the game.
Yep, I think it is that the first thing is declaring the intent in the defender, and then the
That
on
makes
attack is
Avenger a
followed by.
lot worse. That's really interesting.
It does, and that was one of the things we talked about when the card was first revealed. Is it's actually better in a way if it's um, if it's all ground units, right? Because the
Yeah.
space unit can choose itself.
Well, that second game ended up being very close. Ultimately, though, the change of heart tech from Poem was enough to get the win. On that, I feel pretty confident saying I don't say for sure, but I feel pretty confident saying that if Vader had found a Death Trooper to kill Boba, that would have been Copycat's game. But
Right,
he was off by one on that draw, unfortunately for him.
and we got to see a matchup as close as you can get. Right, 23-25. Pretty
23 to
good.
25, very close. So yeah, so it's interesting. Copycat could have played the Super Laser Blast. It would have hurt him more than his opponent, but it would have healed him for two. And it would have then prevented him from dying here. So that was sort of just a mistake. The problem, though, is that it wouldn't have actually won the game because we would have just seen Fett's Fire Spray come and close things out.
And
Still, interesting gameplay.
Inception says rip for perfect bracket ruined. Apparently he had copycat. He doesn't believe in late night caning. That's on you, Inception.
Oh, ouch, ouch.
Should we grab Poem up into this channel?
Yeah, let's do the interview. You want to go get him?
Absolutely.
Sounds good to me. So to those tuning in, Palm has just won the first round here. We're gonna take a quick look at the bracket, and we will have Palm in here for the winners interview shortly, I believe. Okay, so going back over here, gonna take a quick look at the bracket. That was a win for Poem, so he's now advanced. We're gonna see a battle of the Bobas with Poem's Mono Boba gonna face off against Astrotech's Command Boba shortly. All right, Poem, welcome and congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Uh,
Rough sledding there on the first game with the no 2-drop, and then game 3 was a pretty close match, but I don't know. Change of heart for the win, I guess.
yeah, that change of heart was big.
What was your reasoning not resourcing to 6?
I was trying to hoard cards
Hmm.
because of like how he had double ramped and he could get to Super Laser Blast like before I could get to lethal. Like I hadn't really like started pumping damage into his base, and I had like decent plays that turn, like just play the Bosk or whatever. If I recall, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like,
Yeah, I think you could have played I think you ended up playing Cunning instead, but you could have
oh,
played Bosk.
I knew I wanted to play Cunning, yeah, because I could damage ping with the boss to kill his Death Trooper,
Gotcha.
and then
I think that was probably the
yeah, and I
second
got the
most important
idea,
card played.
to discard him because he was down to 2 cards.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty good. And then I had the decision to pump my guy or to exhaust his Iden, and by exhausting the Iden, I like still get the 4 damage from Bosk, like he stays alive, and then he's still
Mm.
there for next round.
Yeah.
So I thought that was
And
pretty good.
and you made him ditch a card from his hand with the cunning too, which I thought was smart.
Yeah, this deck is really like cunning dependent, like it just needs the cunning.
Cunning is a very strong card, probably one of the best of the double aspect cards. I don't know about the best, they're all pretty good, but Cunning is very strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I play
think cunning is the best double aspect card by actually a large margin, I would say.
yeah.
I think there are some situations where, yeah, I think it's probably the most versatile, which makes it very effective. I think that there are some specific cases where aggression is great, or vigilance is great, or command is great, but cunning just feels like it's almost never like, oh, I don't really have a good way to use this.
And I have found that playing Sabine Red, I mean, my win rate correlates very directly with drawing aggressions. And I think Boba Yellow has some aspect of that. It's probably a little more even because Bodhi's a very good card.
Yeah, and
And his
Cantina Bouncer is
consistency to
no
bounce.
slouch either.
Yeah,
I want to welcome
everybody's really
Copycat
excited.
here to the chat. Sorry, welcome Copycat.
Oh yeah.
Good games.
So, do you guys want to run us through your sideboard decisions? What did you do?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
You can go first there, Copycat.
Let's see. Brought out the 2 snow troopers. Those are mostly in there to kill rebel ships with Inferno 4 on turn 2. So don't need those as much.
The
Brought out,
snowtrooper lieutenants there you brought out.
yeah, and then 2 Rook and 1 system patrol craft. Those just don't hit that much in this matchup, I don't think.
Okay, and what did
I
you
like
add
snow.
in?
I added in 2 Avenger and then 3 Make an Opening.
Makes sense. Yeah, we were talking about how make an opening seemed like it would be a definitely a positive addition to the deck for this matchup.
Yep.
And were you not main decking make an opening because you thought Boba percentage would be lower this bracket?
Yeah. I was predicting a much more Iden than Boba, so.
What about you, Pom?
I took out a shoot first and an ISB agent to get a couple strafing gunships in there. Just wanted, I actually think I
Oh, whoops.
probably made a little bit of a mistake in not having a little bit more or resource or kind of mid game gas. So like I often have a hard time actually spending my resources in those rounds.
Strafing
So it's
Gunship's a solid card.
It did work
yeah,
for you that second game, for
I
sure.
did get some value out of it, yeah, for sure. It's too bad it's not in my main deck, but ISB agent was in there because I was actually expecting Idens and I wanted to be able to clear up like death troopers and stuff like that was my initial thought there, and like ping shields off of stuff like Iden shield and whatnots.
Mm.
So I think it's like an okay card. It's just maybe more of a it did save me in game one. I was telling Copycat I mulliganed and didn't see a 2-drop in either my first 6 cards or the second 6, and I fortunately drew an ISB agent. Um,
Yeah, the
so
ISB agent actually did decently well.
yeah, and he was able to kind of ping the Viper probe and then get the trade. So he ended up kind of doing his job. But yeah, he's kind of maybe the sketchiest include in my deck. I'd say he's a little bit fringe.
There are a few things that he's very good against, but there are also some situations where he's kind of derpy.
Yeah. Anyhow, any other questions here?
How do you feel about your next match?
Um, Well, first of all, it's against Astrotech, and he's a quality pilot and deck builder. And in general, Boba Yellow is a dog to Boba Green because of the ramp. You just get Boba down a
Mm.
turn earlier, and things can get out of hand. But who knows? Maybe he'll draw poorly, and I can peel a couple wins off of him. We'll
Yeah,
see.
we'll see how it goes. I'm looking at Astrotech's deck here. It looks like, relatively standard Boba Green. He's got the super laser techs, the resupplies. The one kind of surprising thing about it to me is that he's not running shoot first. But aside from that, pretty standard Boba Green stuff.
Yep. Looks like I'll just need to draw 3 Cunnings and just tempo him to death.
But when it out,
Yeah.
draw more cunning and hope he
Yep.
doesn't draw barrage.
Hey, so
Yep.
so you're running at 51 cards. What's up with that?
Well, I actually got the idea from Vika, who we were kind of putting the list together and in the 11th hour here, and it was like, hey, you don't have to go to 50. And it's like if all your cards have a job to do and you're happy with you kind of feel like each card is fulfilling a role, then just run 51. Well, and I was like, oh, that sounds fine. I'll try it.
I
I didn't
I
I
don't think
yeah.
it's like insane, but I do think that if a big part of your plan is drawing cunning as a high priority card, I'd rather have the
So,
highest cunning density in my deck possible by running the minimum number of other cards.
yeah, I can see that. I mean, I wouldn't say that this deck build is polished by any means. Like I said, there was a
Yeah,
couple.
that's fair.
The original build was actually more like I had like tile ends and snowtrooper lieutenants and just trying to like push damage to the base and things like that.
Yeah, more
Um,
aggro.
but it just kind of gets blown out by barrage, you know. Just those tile ends
Yeah.
are just like just dead wood. Just
I think the change of heart to counter some of the bigger endgame units that we're seeing is a very solid choice right now, honestly.
yeah, I wanted, usually that top end card I'll run two of, but I knew I wanted the three. Yeah, and I think in retrospect, I'd probably cut the three ISB agent and just put those two gunships in there and just have a 50 card, and but we can't.
Yeah,
Too
that's
bad.
that I was thinking, you could take the current list and just go to two ISB agents or two Bib Fortunas or whatever and run it 50 and it would be more or less the same.
I mean, I think Bib Fortuna is definitely a three of. I think that guy is actually crazy good.
Yeah, I cut an ISB then.
Yeah,
At an
it's
ISB,
a
but
turn two cunning if you have bib.
All right, one other deck building question. I noticed that you're not running Jabba the Hutt. Have you tried him and been disappointed? Or I know there was some discussion about him as being potentially a very solid card for double yellow Boba in particular.
so Jabba the Hutt is kind of like on the fence too. He's probably, in consideration. I think he's like slow for what you're trying to do, I guess, like
Yeah.
in a way. Like what he brings to the table like isn't really advancing your win con. He's just a little bit yeah, he's just a little bit slow. So that was the philosophy coming in, is that this can be a full gas aggro deck if it needs to be, It can,
Yeah, makes a lot of sense to me, honestly.
yeah. So just opted for, no good to me deads kind of came in at the last minute, things like that. Shoot first, we're kind of on the fringe, but just opted for more of the tempo aggro archetype.
Yeah, well, it worked well for you, so congratulations on your win there. Um, and yeah, any final thoughts from you or for Loopy before the game, or I'm sorry, not from you or for Copycat before we close down the stream? I'll let Copycat go first if he wants.
I think we about covered it.
Sounds good. Poem,
I
you
just
got
want to
anything?
thank you guys for running the stream and take the initiative league for setting all this up. And we'll see you guys
Yeah,
next
shout
time.
out to Rebel Traitor for organizing this league. He's also done a few streams himself. If you go and check out his channel. But yeah, Loopy, any final thoughts from you?
Yep, people who are getting ready for the pre-releases, watch some of these games. I mean, if you want to see what the meta looks like with the cards revealed, I mean, you gotta see it done.
I
Some
will
of this
add as a
is
caveat that pre-releases are sealed format, and the deck quality is probably going to be a lot less than you're seeing from competitive constructed builds. But I do think
yeah,
getting
you,
familiar with the game
you
mechanics and how things can develop is a good idea.
card pool knowledge is card pool knowledge. I mean, I would agree that better than that still is joining up, getting on the Take Initiative Discord, just jam some games. There's a couple of ways to do that right now. If you're completely new, find Force Table. But things are getting exciting right here, and we'll have real cards in about a week and a half.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Well, I think that's gonna about do it for this broadcast. Thank you to the players for giving us a cool match to stream, for Loopy for coming on and co-casting, and thanks again to Rebel Trader for organizing this whole thing. So that's gonna do it from me, guys. And yeah, we'll be back later with some more Star Wars Unlimited content, including hopefully some more coverage of other games in this top cut. I will catch you guys later.